What up? What up? Welcome into Attacking Third, everybody. We are covering the UEFA Women's Euros 2025. I'm your host, Darian Jenkins, joined by the legendary Lori Lindsey and McCall Zerboni, NWSL U.S. Women's National Team alum. Ladies, so excited that you guys are here to talk with us. And if you're listening as a pod, welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. Jump in the chat with us. Let us know what you want us to talk about. What'd we miss? Tell us what's going on. First, before we get started, can anybody stop Esther?
No.
Anybody stop Esther?
Well, I was worried for a sec that her own organization was trying to stop her. I'm like, why is she not starting today? This better be a resting situation. And she
This
said,
was supposedly the B team.
You don't want to start me? No worries. I'll just come in and pop some more goals too. So,
yeah. Listen, I love her. I mean, we get to see her all the time with Gotham, right? So we see it week in and week out, and it's kind of like we're losing track on different ways to describe what she does so successfully. But it is really just her movement. She's 2 or 3 plays ahead of every single player, and it's about like baiting defenders. She makes you like think that you're going to have much more time and space. She takes you away. She brings you in, and then the change of pace. And we saw it again. But then the technique to finish it, because that ball that came into her to take that away, most players are going, myself included, would have been like, let me try this with my right foot and swing across my body and probably miss, right? We've seen it times before, and it spins up in the air. She just takes it so cleanly on that last finish. I'm like, it's just a joy to watch. And she's so different than any player. So
she doesn't overcomplicate things.
Yeah, exactly. And I told you, Darian, the last time we were on together, it was like, I think she is going to be their most important player, especially as this tournament goes on, because things get really heightened, right? Everything's so much more tense. So Italy, in a lot of ways, played more open, which I loved today, but teams are going to sit back. And I would imagine Switzerland, since they're going to play each other in the quarterfinals, are going to have to find their moments and really hone in on her. But she's so tough to pin down, and then it opens up other players when they try to. So,
it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, she was the player I highlighted before the tournament started, and I kind of like highlighted her journey and like how she's rose to the top. And like, if you give that girl fire, she's unstoppable. And that's exactly where she's burning from her feet down right now. Like, it's so incredible. You guys, I'm telling you, when we were at training, like when they were reading off the names for 11v11, I was like, please be on my team. Please be on my team. I don't want to chase her around. You're talking about her movement, Lori. And I'm like, I don't want to do that today.
Yeah.
She fakes one way, she moves the other. It's all counter movement. Like, if you're a young player watching Esther with club or country, just watch her movement when she's not on the ball, because that's, to me, is like the most impressive quality of hers. I'm like, oh my god, that's how you play as a 9. I wish I knew this when I was playing. Like, why was no watching Esther?
So she's so fit. Like, I don't even know if she gets enough credit for that and how well she takes care of her body too as a professional, just in like, because it's like routine now, but like, she's healthy. She's always available. Like, it is, it's a full package. I mean, good on her.
On. She puts
I'll tell you who else though. Sorry. I'm just taking over the whole conversation, but Vicky Lopez, I think is just dynamite. Watch this space, because we've all known that, but like, I haven't seen, like, everything is so smooth with Vicky Lopez. There's little hesitations, everything. Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about Esther. I'm talking about Vicky Lopez.
No, you're right, though. The wisdom in that youngster, because, like, there's a lot of hype around Vicky Lopez, right? But to watch her eloquence at such a young age is insanity. Like, she's next level already. Yeah. And not just like 1v1 with the ball at her feet, like her spacing, her movement, her intelligence.
Yeah. This Spain team is just loaded. Like, if this was the B team going out, they're resting people. I mean, I'm scared
for Switzerland.
I'm scared for Switzerland. I know we're going to get into that. Before we do get into that, everybody, we got very sidetracked with Esther, but hold on, because your girls, although we get sidetracked, we talk about important stuff, because we've been nominated yet again for the People's Choice Award for Best Female Hosted Podcast. And we need your help to reach the finals. All you got to do, register to vote, www.podcastawards.com/app/sign up. Wow, I read all of that out. Once you do, select the drop-down menu for Best Female Hosted Podcast and select your favorite pod, the Attacking Third. Support your girls. It'll be really quick. Tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your mama, tell your grandparents, tell your brothers, sisters, grandparents. Come on, don't leave it out. Spread the word. Tell everybody to get out and vote and support your girls. Okay. Ladies, let's get into the groups because A and B are now settled. Group A, Norway, top of the group. Top of the group, Norway, 3 wins, 9 points. Not pretty, but they did it. Switzerland left it very late, second half stoppage time to draw it, ultimately advancing on goal difference over Finland, which I know we're all of our heartstrings are pulled with Switzerland. And then Group B, Spain through 3 matches have 13 goals from 9 different goal scorers. You get a goal, you get a goal, you get a goal. And for the first time, they went down in this tournament, but leveled it 4 minutes later. I mean, we all kind of expected that to happen. And next, they take on Switzerland. Looking at how Italy played Spain today, do you think that that's the blueprint of how teams are going to look to play Spain the rest of the tournament? If you're Switzerland, Lori, I'll ask you because you were on call today. You crushed it. We love hearing you. You're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You're here now. How good did Italy's tactics affect Spain? Do you think that that's the blueprint moving forward for teams?
That's a tough question because I think there's aspects of that. And obviously I was on the call, so we do a lot of research. We watch games back and you start to pick out some of the nuances of the way that Italy plays. And there's not a lot of teams that can play like Italy. They're drawing from like Conte, one of the most legendary coaches from Italy, in the way that they're setting up their tactics in the attack. And so they're using some of that obviously to their advantage against Spain in the way that they can play, which is like the first look is out wide. Today it was a bit in behind because they knew they could potentially expose Spain that way. But once they went out wide, then yes, it's always typically diagonal balls or early balls in behind. So there's some aspects, I think, especially in the way that they approach, like when they can high press and when they can sit back. I think you're going to have to do that. I actually think this is interesting for Switzerland because they have set up a similar, like in a 5-3-2 or a 3-5-2, however you want to describe it, but depending on what side of the ball they're on. But Switzerland, the one thing that I think that they have to look for in this game is obviously be very diligent defensively, because they're going to make you work Spain. But in transition is where they have been their best, and that's when they look most dangerous, and that's also where Spain has been the most vulnerable, is balls in behind, set pieces. And I think there is an opportunity, if Switzerland's going to at least try to get a goal, that's where it's going to be, right? But it's going to start with them having to be very, very diligent and smart defensively. So to answer your question more specifically, yes, I do feel like teams can use this blueprint, but they're really going to have to pick and choose their times because they don't have the same weapons tactics that Italy has, and those are very nuanced, but there's aspects to it.
McCall, what do you think? Obviously this Switzerland team has a lot of younger players than this Italian team, but how much of an asset do you think it is to be almost a little bit more audacious when you're younger? You kind of have the naivete of going against Spain where you're like, okay, this is our game plan, bet. Do you think Switzerland have more of a chance going against them with that kind of facet in mind?
I mean, it's for sure the nothing to lose mentality, right? They're just going to go out there, and they saw Italy. Italy did not play afraid today. They went for it, and they even in their attack were stretched at times, and they were down to take the risk to be vulnerable. And they got a goal awarded for it. But set pieces for me is where Spain is really, really weak. But Switzerland's got to get the ball high enough to up the field to earn those free kicks in those dangerous serving areas, or it's not going to really work for them. So I think that's the areas, like in those central wide channel areas, deliveries, Spain really suffered. There was almost 2 goals today from Italy deliveries in that space. So if you can get more there, Switzerland will have a chance. But again, the chess pieces are different than what Italy has. So they'll have to put their best foot forward with what they have.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, especially I think the first 15 minutes from Italy, I was so impressed with how they were finding balls, just very direct over the top. There was a lot of miscommunication. To me, the part where on the field where Spain has the most weak chemistry is the back line to the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
It looks like everybody was almost playing together for like, it'd been the first few months, but they hadn't faced this yet. And everybody was kind of shocked of how to handle it. So if I'm a Rudler or a really young player coming into this and I'm looking to go against Spain, I'm thinking, let's just come out hard and go over the top immediately and make them have to respect us. Do you guys also think that that's where the game's won and lost? Like the Swiss have to be Loctite going forward, have to make the right decisions, and Spain that's their weakest point.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, sorry, go ahead, McCall, please.
No, I was just gonna say, well, let's be honest, Spain wants the ball on the floor. The aerial game is not their strength. So if you want to pop balls over the top, put balls in the air, that's where they're going to make mistakes, and that's where they don't want it.
Yeah. I also think they'll change. I think it'll be Olga Carmona on the left side again. They'll go back to their starting back four. And Carmona will get high on the left side. So they'll have like essentially 3 center backs, because it's like, modern day where most people just play a hybrid back 3 or whatever, especially when they attack. Yeah. So it will be, if they line up the same way, Switzerland, Reutler will come out of the midfield and look to over, and Benet, who's typically been like kind of the wing back for Switzerland on that right-hand side. But my only thing about this Switzerland team, goodness, because I love them. I love their, like, the host nation has gotten behind them. They have so many young players that just look like they're having fun. Like, this team just has like a pizzazz about them that like draws you in. But sometimes with that, as young players, you don't realize, or it's not drilled into you that, like, listen, you get one chance, it has to find the back of the net. Yeah. And there's been some times where they haven't put teams away, and it got them in against Norway because they didn't put away their chances, and then Norway comes back and wins that first game. So I feel like that has to be drilled in from them, from Pia Sunage, that be like, defensively get it right, but then we get our chances. It's not about, we cannot waste opportunities.
Almost like a too casual approach, because they don't know the weight of what it means.
Or misplaced passes, there's just some things.
That's the beauty of youth.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, Lori, we know how chill Pia is. Like, she's not
outwardly, inside she's freaking out.
Well, looking at this match, we've all fallen in love with the Swiss. As much as I want them to advance, I don't think they will, but I want them to put up such a good fight against Spain, because I feel that this federation has grown so much throughout the tournament, and they're going to be they're already a team to fear moving forward, but especially if they can challenge Spain in this. How can you last 90 minutes against Spain and lock all of those areas down? So predictions. I know we all hate them, but we got to do them. Predictions of the Spain versus Switzerland match. Lori, let's go to you first.
Goodness, I kind of hate to say it, but I think it might be like 3-0.
That's exactly not what one. I was gonna say.
Not right. One. I think get one.
They might get one, but I think it's going to be tough. I just think it's going to be tough. I think, it's emotionally. Okay, here's the interesting aspect about this too, is how much time these teams have. It's not played till next Friday. Switzerland played yesterday. Yeah. They have over a week. Spain exactly a week for preparation. That is strange in a tournament. Whereas the other side of the same bracket is playing Wednesday, so it's 2 days less. So I think how teams handle that. But I also think there's an aspect of your fans getting behind you and how exciting that is. But then also, as a young team, really managing that, because you can get caught up in that for the next week and you could be exhausted after the first 15 minutes. And so to me, from tournament play in these situations, hide yourself away, try to shut out any noise, like watch your television, watch your shows, right? And like, don't move around, don't mess around.
Advice from Lori Lindsey, just chill out.
Yeah.
Don't go outside, chill out.
Yeah.
You have to call you the truth, because obviously Switzerland has way less depth, right? So now we're getting to the part of the tournament where these same players have been putting on a lot of minutes underneath their legs, whereas Spain has a little bit more of that luxury to rotate players like we saw today, but Switzerland doesn't have that. So they're going to have to put their best foot forward with the players that have already been putting a lot of minutes in. And again, that 12th man is going to be loud and roaring, and they're going to be hyped, and it's going to be like an emotional dump, and they've got to keep managing that.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say about that too is Spain, there's something to play for, right? This is the first team that could go back-to-back World Cup to Euros since Germany has done it. And then also they have championship experience. We talked a little bit about that with the England, and them understanding like a rhythm of a tournament to win. And so that's always going to be in favor of a team that's been able to do that. And that will be a big difference, I feel like, in this game between Spain and Switzerland.
I have more faith in Switzerland. Do I think they're going to win? No. I think that watching that game against Italy, I'm like, great, let's get set pieces, let's get end line and transition, and let's sit low. We're a talented squad. We're young. We got all these people here. The traffic lights look like us.
Do you think they're gonna score one?
I hope so. Listen, I'm for D's prediction. I love it. I'm
gonna say
too.
3-2. Yeah, I want some goals. Yeah, I know. I'm a little delusional, but it's fun.
No, we love that from you.
Is it right?
No,
Probably
we do like
not. It. Well, let's jump over to the other side of the quarterfinal. We've got Norway versus Italy. Okay, this is the more, I think, up in the air matchup to me. Norway topped the group, 3 wins, perfect record. Not convincing play, in my opinion. I still don't think we've seen a clean enough performance from them, a team performance from them. I think they have incredible goal scorers, incredible individual talent. I'm not sold against a team like Italy, who I think, this match to me proved that this is a team that is growing throughout this tournament. So looking at this, do you think that Norway have it in them to topple Italy and get to the semifinals? McCall.
Norway to me looks discombobulated and disjointed. It looks like they have a whole bunch of players that some play in Barcelona, some play in Spain, some play in England, because they do.
Styles.
Like their players look so disjointed in that they're playing with clubs from different countries with different styles, and they can't get on the same page because, as you mentioned before earlier in the week, Dee, their roster is strong. They have experienced players, but they just are not putting out good performances. So for me, Italy all day on this. I love their grit. I love that they look united. I love that they have a focus and a purpose when they step out onto the pitch every single time. I think they have the edge in this game.
I'm mad at Norway. What are those performances? Those are not good. Look at their team on paper. It makes no sense. And everybody's playing at the same pace. It is like pragmatic and monotonous. I'm like, get it together. I'm Italy all the way too. I think Italy is going to overrun them in the midfield. I don't think Egan and Bo Reese are going to stand a chance. And even though I like those 2 players a ton, but I also think the weakness for this Norway team is they're not very pacey on the back line. And this Italian team's committed to transition moments. And so the way that Norway's played and defending and the way that Italy's defended, I just think that they're going to have opportunities, Norway, but I think I'm giving it in favor of Italy. Are we doing predictions or?
Sure.
Well, Lori, jump ahead. Give us your predictions. I've got more questions, but give us your predictions.
No, let's ask questions and let me think about it a little bit more. Keep asking questions.
Well, I'm looking at the chat. The chat's blowing up. I love this. Usa, love that. Said, you know what? After today, I'm going with Italy. Norway has been a little underwhelming for the players they have. I completely agree. They have their moments of flashiness. Yes, they're great on set pieces. You have Freedom Autumn come in and putting goals away like we see her with club, which I absolutely love. But I think we all love the more of the passion football story, and that's what we see more from Italy. Like there's truly heart. Yeah, and I think that's what's more convincing to me. But even looking at, okay, Norway scored 4 goals in the last match. They've scored 2 in the other. Italy have only scored or averaging 1 goal a game. Is that enough? Is that enough? Because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I think Norway will score. I don't think Italy are the most in-depth, heavy defense. I think they have their moments where I'm like, what the hell is going on? And Norway has really good forwards that can take advantage of that. Can Italy put enough away to topple Norway? I don't know if I'm convinced. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Well, I think defensively, Italy's been outstanding. They limited Spain to 1 shot on goal, which actually happened to be the goal in the first half. But then also the second goal was also a goal, or the second shot on frame was also a goal. So, okay, credit to Spain in that regard. But throughout this tournament, and even leading up to it, they've been really, really solid defensively. So I don't think that's going to change. And actually, I'd be curious just about the frustration level from Norway in that because I'm like wanting to see a little bit more pizzazz from them. Like they're having fun, but everything looks a little bit labored. And this isn't unusual. I mean, they weren't great in the Women's World Cup in 2023, and then dating back to 2022, they imploded against England. And so this has been a reoccurring pattern for them. I thought this year was going to be maybe a Norway team that we're going to see come to life again, like we used to see in the 90s. However, the talent they have. I agree with you, Dee, that this team should be scoring a lot of goals, but I do think Italy has enough to keep them at bay. But yeah, I think Italy's going to score, even though it's not like the wildest XG that they have, or they're putting up a ton of numbers. I think Italy's going to score, and I think they have enough to really limit Norway, regardless of the talent they have, unless all of a sudden we see a shift in like momentum for Norway. But wait, it's been 3 games. We haven't seen it.
I'm just thinking, I mean, what you mentioned just earlier, Lori, that clinicalness is so key as you grow into a tournament and then you get into like single knockout. Like you said, Spain had 1 chance on goal and it was a goal. Yeah. And when you get into the quarterfinal, that's the difference, right? Your execution. So I think Norway needs a lot of chances to score goals, whereas I feel like Italy is that kind of team that is growing into the tournament and getting better and better with each match.
Good take.
That is a very good take. And hey, XG doesn't account for passion. XG doesn't account for a lot. XG never really tells the story of the game.
And also confidence, right? Yeah, just confidence, real confidence and belief in what you're doing. And as good as Norway is, it does feel like, I mean, everybody's working hard. Everyone's doing what they need to be doing, but there does look like there's like a lack of like real belief, right? Yeah, exactly. At that level, 100%.
Yeah. And I think Hegerberg's penalty kind of speaks to that.
Yeah.
When I saw her go up to her penalty, I was like, oh, I feel like this is not going in.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was the tone that they've had throughout this. Honestly, though, let's get to predictions. Lori, I know you were jumping the gun. You want to tell us what you think. I'll go first, though. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I do think Norway's going to go through. I think it'll be 2-1. I think they'll create enough chances. And I'm not convinced that Italy can score more than that right now. I would love to be surprised. Elena Linari is my girl. We played together in France, but I need more in the attack from them to be convinced. I feel like Norway just on paper has it, but I know I'm going to be that was the L take as I'm being told in the chat. So what do you guys think?
What about you, Lori?
Well, I love Linari's your girl, because I love Linari. I think her and Salva have been great as 2 of those 3 center backs. I'm actually going to flip that. I'm going to say 2-1 Italy in extra time.
You and I are vibing. Oh, I wasn't going to say extra time, but I had 2-1 on my brain, Italy, the whole time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it might be 1 and then extra time 2-1.
Wow.
Let's remember these predictions.
Yeah, I know. Producer Mark, write these down.
We were supposed to be, but I think they're actually trying to see exactly what the matchups are. So we were supposed to be on these 2 that we were talking about, but now it's changed a little bit. So we'll actually see. We'll know on Sunday.
Okay. Well, of course, I had the L take. The chat agreed with you guys. The poll that producer Mark put in the chat, 58% of you agreed Italy are going to get the dub and 42% Norway. But I like that this was it's more up in the air. I think it's going to be really who brings more passion to the match, because both of these teams are good, but it's just on the day who's going to show up and show out.
I mean, what kind of Zerboni would I be if I didn't say Italy?
True. Yeah, you couldn't say anything else.
That's right.
No, I absolutely love it. Well, we have a lot more to say, though, because we're going to be chatting Mia Fishel joining Seattle Reign and Tobin Heath retiring officially from professional soccer. So stick with us after this quick break. We're going to chop it up. Anyone else dance during the breaks with our new theme music?
I hit our tune hard. I'm just jigging.
Yeah. I'm like, this would be my gym music. Like, it kind of gets me like, okay, we're like, I'm about to go in a match or something. Anyways, let's talk about a player that we'll get to see stateside at some matches very soon. UCLA Bruin. Come on, McCall.
What's up?
Mia Fishel, Big Fish, is joining Seattle Reign from Chelsea. This was a huge move, rumored for quite some time of where she was going to go. But I absolutely love this. Just take a look at her career, her very young career. She started out UCLA, massive career, 32 goals, 14 assists. She gets called into the national team, has a couple caps, unfortunately got injured, but she was drafted 5th overall in 2022, picked by Orlando, but opted to go sign with Tigres. I think one of the few players that set this trend up of players going to play in Mexico, and she absolutely crushed it. 17 goals, 17 matches, and then ends up joining Chelsea. Back-to-back WSL titles, winning an FA Women's Cup, winning an FA Women's League Cup. Absolutely stacked career. Her credentials are insane, and not to mention she's a baller on the pitch. Looking at this, I know I can't remember who was on the show, but we talked about where she going to go in the NWSL. I said she was going to go somewhere West Coast. I thought she's a California kid. I was like, okay, I see San Diego. I see LA potentially. No, she's going to Seattle. Ladies, what were your initial thoughts? Does this make sense? And if it does, why?
Are you going, McCall?
You're going.
Okay. Yeah, I love this. I think that first of all, I think exactly what you said, Darian, about one of the first players to set that trend. And I think there's always something to say. That is such an important, even if it seems like a little detail, because it shows personality, right? It shows a player that's willing to take risks in their life and wanting to really
100%
do something for their own career. And so I love that she went to Tigres, lit it up there, and then obviously caught the eye of Emma Hayes, who's now we all know our U.S. Women's National Team coach, but then battling from injury, and I think not getting those minutes because of that and coming back from her ACL, it makes this move even better. I think in terms of her style of play, just getting back into the NWSL, back into this where the league is now, right? Which is, we've seen so many teams evolve in the different styles of play, but also to this specific team where she can really help, in my opinion, because they need a player like that. They need a real true number 9 that wants to hunt in the box, that can add so many more elements to their game. And I think this is just going to make them so much more dangerous in the run of play with Mia, but also off of set pieces. So I've loved her style of play. And I think that her relationship with Laura, I feel like is going to be a tremendous one, and just a real, like, a player-oriented coach. So I'm excited about this. I think she's going to hit the ground running immediately. And again, it's a player that I feel like they need and they haven't had for a bit. And a real focal point is how I guess I would say in their attack, somebody that can play off of. And with Jess Fishel coming back now, being more healthy, now there's somebody that she bounces balls off. So again, it just adds way more variety and fluidity to their attack with me on the field.
Well, I'm looking at this. How does she fit in though? Is she going to be? She can also play the 10. Looking at Jordan Heidema, Lynn Biondolo, Maddie Darlene, Jess Fishlock's coming back. McCall, what do you think that's actually going to look like going forward?
Well, that's why I love the move, because I think her aspects are so complementary to Biondolo, to Darlene, right? They're contrasting complements. She has more physicality, her back to goal, hold up play, whereas Lynn more wants to stretch, running behind, and so does Darlene with her pace. I see her as a true number 9, but I also love Lynn Biondolo in the number 9, because when those balls do pop over the top, she's in more central areas closer to the goal and not wide. So I think it will be a little bit of a positive headache for Laura Harvey to decide, who's in that role on game day and when. But, Lynn adjusts. We've seen her do that in her career on the national team level and the club level, no matter what. And she'll find a way to work with Mia and get the best out of each other. And I feel like that front line is only going to rise with the rain now. And I'm really excited to watch them together.
Yeah. I also think go ahead, Lori.
I was just going to say, it gives them more adjustments into the formations they want to play, if you want to talk about that type of stuff, right? And so I think you could play like a stacked striker, right? You could have Lynn that's always going to stretch, and Mia's playing underneath her. You could play 2 front, even though maybe that's not their favorite formation. But you can also have 3 across. And then Mia doesn't always, yes, she could be a true 9, but she could also just drift back. And then you have on the wide areas Darlene and Biondolo stretching the game. So I think, again, it just, regardless of how they're set up, Mia, to me, just fits in seamlessly, because 1, you get more depth all of a sudden, which hasn't been their strongest suit the last few years for Seattle. And then 2, you get a out and out goal scorer that you really need, that helps with Lynn Biondolo. Darlene still honing her craft at the highest level. So I don't know. I like this a lot. And I don't necessarily think it's going to be as big of a headache maybe for Laura. I just think they have more depth now. And it alleviates some of the pressure from a Jess Fishlock who's coming off this big tournament and players.
And from a Lynn.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to get the most, looking at this, I think you'll get the most out of the other players around her because she is that hold up. She is great on set pieces. She's great at getting in the box. She plays as a 10 where she's holding the ball up. She's really tricky on how she lays it off, her movement, the way she exposes spaces. Whereas I think before when you're having like Darlene, Haidema, Biondolo, who all want to be turning and facing towards goal, want to be running.
Yep.
This opens up so much more space where let those players play to their qualities and let Mia Fishel play to her quality. It's just going to elevate everybody. I think this is actually the biggest change that I needed from Seattle mid-season because I wasn't convinced on them the first half. I won't lie. I can't think of one performance where I was like, oh, they're a team that could compete for a championship this year.
But one player changes that, right? One player can change that, I think, and just give the lift that you need at this point in time, Darian, like you say, like this middle of the season, second half, really, it's going to be interesting to see how teams regroup. And that could be the difference for Seattle.
Yeah. Well, I know that's going to be a whole 3 segments on another Attacking Third show. But before we jump into that, let's not get ahead of ourselves because we have to talk about the legend, the coolest, illest player that I watched. I watched growing up. Tobin Heath officially announced her retirement from playing soccer. U.S. Women's National Team legend. I mean, let's throw it up, producer Mark. Just look at this. U.S. Soccer 2016 Female Athlete of the Year. 3-time NCAA champion at UNC. Boo! No, just playing. They killed it. They just didn't want me. 2-time NWSL champion with Portland. 2-time Shield winner with Portland and Seattle. 2 World Cups and 2-time Olympic gold champion. Now, those are incredible highlights. A resume like that. You both have played with this player. McCall for club and country. Lori for your country. What made her so special? Well, first, before we get to that, I want to know what stories do you have with Tobin Heath? Because I think from the outside, I've never played with her. I've sadly only played against her. She's so mysterious almost.
Yeah.
But so swaggy.
Yeah.
Like
no, that's exactly how to put it.
Yeah.
It's exactly. And I also just feel like she was like walking around the hotel barefoot. Like we're all like, on edge. Are we making these teams? And Tobin's just like walking around. Like in some ways you felt like it was like, what's happening here? And she just had this chill.
You realize we're at camp, right?
Oh yeah. In national team camp, we're all like, okay, I hope I make this team. Right. And she's like, with the confidence and just like, and this such a chill vibe. And that showed up in her game. And I just felt like, yeah, and one of the quotes that she said, like she was never playing soccer to be known, right? Or to get the acknowledgement. She just played because she loved it. And that is actually what I always remember when I think about Tobin is, again, we would all be like going back to the hotel. We'd have double days. We're doing fitness, right? One, she could run for days. She's like beating the beep test. It was just so naturally gifted as an athlete, as a player. And then in between sessions, we'd all be like, okay, we're exhausted. Like what? And she's like going to a wall or finding a patch of grass and like taking balls after training and doing some like keepy uppies and like hitting balls off.
Surfing or skating. And you're like,
down by the beach surfing. Right. And we're like on our hands and knees, like getting back to our beds. And it was just exceptional, but like always with the smile on her face and just like certainly like living her passion and just playing for the joy of the game. And why I say like about her playing in between trainings and stuff, because there was just like, couldn't get enough of it. Just constantly wanting the ball at her feet, finding ways to improve. As soon as we get out in the field, everyone else is like, 30 minutes to like warm up, to like get your bones moving and stuff. And no, she's like just Gumby and was like, let's go. I'm going to go out here and practice different tricks. So yeah, just an exceptional player that I don't think also got enough credit for how much she like really thought about the game to break down.
She's
like
so smart.
Tactics and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, joy and just always a smile on her face. Yeah.
Tobin. I mean, I literally want to write her a retirement letter, like love letter. Like honestly, like she's a couple years younger than me, but she's inspired me so much, like probably more than she even knows. And yes, she's magic on the field, but she's even more magic of a person. She's just so unaffected, non-judgmental, tender-hearted. Like, no matter how much she rose to fame or how much attention she got, she always stayed the same. She was always true to herself, true to others. And it was just really inspiring. And even more so, we were first teammates in 2010 back in Atlanta for club. And she was a rookie then. And probably within the first month of the season, we were at the Bay away playing a game. And she got tackled and it wrecked her ankle. And that was her first ankle surgery that she had to get. And it was just really awful conditions back then, you guys. We had to go on a commercial flight. The next day, she's in pain and agony in the airport. Everyone's staring at us. We're waiting at our gate. She's like, trying to hold it in, but she's in excruciating pain. So we just didn't have enough staff and support and medical team and stuff back then to really do the right thing. So, I'm seeing her suffer. And I remember that was the first moment that impacted and inspired me, that I was still in my rookie essence, like just trotting around doing my own thing. But when I saw her suffering, I was like, oh, it's time that I take care of someone and my teammates. And I'm not a rookie anymore. And I need to look after what's after me. And so that completely changed my perspective and inspired me to get more involved, to grow our conditions, to be on the PA for, and be the vice president of the Player Association for 12 years, just because of that moment, watching that happen, a superstar player suffering in an airport from an ankle she needs surgery on. I mean, it was just terrible. And the way that she endured it was just so special. So thank you, Tobin. There's so many wonderful things I could say about you and to you, but legendary. In peace. There she goes.
Legendary. Oh, I love hearing these stories, because even just like that, McCall, and you too, Lori, you both have, you players built this league and just women's soccer. Like, this is built on your shoulders. The legacy and how popular it is now. And to me, Tobin Heath is also one of those players that was never flashy in the media or never trying to make a brand about anything. She just balled out and was so silky smooth and swaggy on the pitch. And she played well with both feet. Even if she came on, I saw somebody in the chat say, even if she came on late in the game, you knew she was about to get crazy because she was going to score a goal. Just absolutely incredible player with incredible accolades. But despite that, before we get on to her post-playing career, because she's cooking. This is not the last we're seeing of Tobin in the soccer space. I'm not just going to say women's soccer because she's everywhere. But what do you think her legacy is? U.S. Women's National Team or NWSL? What is her legacy to you guys?
I think McCall, I love that story that you just told, because I think there's just an aspect of Tobin that's taking so much in, even though she has this quiet nature about her, that she would have been soaking in that information that you were passing on to her. And I think that's her legacy, is that she's left the game in a better place. She, really, in so many ways, was one of those first players that played the way that she did, right? Like, just like taking players on this 1v1, like master controller of the ball, and just like fun just to like try things, right? I remember she would like nutmeg somebody and go back and nutmeg somebody again. And you're just like, that's just mean and rude. Thank goodness I'm not that defender. But I also think that like she's mentored, and she continues to develop the game in a way that's like, even if it's not like the most vocal, she's passing on notes. Like, I was reading one of the things that press had said about her, and how she's texting all of the players that national team that get their first caps. And I just think that is like, that's like, that just ended on
that. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think that says everything about her, and she's really grown into that position. And but it really, the thing is, McCall, is like, we're all learning that, right? So you've passed it on, she's passing it on, and like, it's just like a wonderful aspect to see. But that's what I would say, is just like the quiet nature of her that continues to pass on the love of the sport.
I mean, for me, she's just a great example to all young athletes of being yourself and never reaching outside of who you are to meet others' expectations. she was all true to herself the entire time and never changed. Tobin was always Tobin. And no matter how much, like I said, attention or fame or that she didn't get, because she wasn't starving for it. She was always very secure, always knew herself very well. And, you know, I would love any young athletes to spend multiple time with her to learn how to be.
No, I absolutely love that. That's so well said. To me, her legacy is a footballer, a pure footballer. You can get distracted with everything else going on. Tobin Heath to me was always just there for the game. I think she set a new standard of what going 1v1 is like, playing bold, Lori, like you said, going back again and again to go at somebody. And I love Ted Manu in the chat said her legacy is Alyssa Thompson, Trinity Rodman, Mallory Swanson. She loves taking players 1v1. And I feel like I think of her and Marta. Those are the players that you would watch in awe of how they would move in a game. And she's also one of the first players to me, like even with my knowledge, she's inspired me to go play overseas, Man U, Arsenal, PSG, and not because your career was going to be risky for your career because you're not stateside and visually here. And like, she just went and balled out. So I love this. But like I said, she's not gone forever. She co-owns clothing company Re-Ink. She co-hosts the Recap show. She's a global ambassador and co-chair of an advisory board for grassroots soccer. She was part of the technical study group, or is, for the Club World Cup as the only woman in the group, y'all, with no coaching licenses, the youngest one, the only woman. And I love this quote I saw from her. Kristen Press asked if she's intimidated being, you know, with Arsene Wenger and all these incredible, very decorated coaches. And she said, I am by far the most experienced winner as a player in that room. I'm not intimidated.
Love it. Yeah, exactly.
That's a bar. To me, if that sums up Tobin Heath and her legacy. Because hell yeah. And we all need to take that in.
Yeah. Tobes, wishing you all the best, even though you're already doing all the most. We're wishing you all the best. We love you.
Also, just her art too. I freaking love that. Because sometimes we don't see that.
Multifaceted.
Yeah. People are just doing freaking so many gifts. I'm like, this is awesome. Keep going.
Yeah. What can she do? Exactly. I don't know. Yeah. Guys, this was such a good show. I absolutely loved it. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for sticking with us. We have more Attacking Third, of course, because we don't quit. Women's Euros is going on. So Attacking Third will be back Sunday, the 13th at 5 p.m. Eastern here on YouTube with the final 4 teams. And we'll get the knockout stage for the Euro 2025. I can't wait to see y'all chop it up about it. But guys, thank you for engaging. Don't forget, go and vote for the podcast awards. Don't forget, tell everybody you know, tell your friends, tweet about it, post on Instagram, make TikToks about it, tell your grandma's sister's best friend. Please go and vote because your girls deserve it. From producer Mark, McCall, Lori, I'm Darian. This was Attacking Third.